There is no demand for ivory in the Western Hemisphere. All ivory demand comes from Asia. That's pretty much the entire world's demand for ivory. And the reason is, it is it's an aphrodisiac, it cures AIDS, cancer, you lose your arm, it'll grow back, right? I mean, it is a miracle cure. It is a magical potion product. So what it did in this state is it really, really crippled the antique dealers. So you've got like an ivory knife blade that's incredibly valuable. One of these horns goes for, anybody get any idea on how much a horn goes for?
$4 million on this.
Yeah, it's like $250,000, $300,000 for a horn, right? A big rhino horn or an elephant tusk or something.
The rhino horn is actually made out of
fingernails and stuff.
That's what fingernails are made out of, and they grind it up.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the elephant tusk that's more the pure ivory, right? That's what they used to make piano, yeah, like all kinds of stuff, and all that stuff is long ago. There is really no demand for. Yes, I would like to, have a freshly made ivory gun handle, something like that, right? Those are like 100-year-old items.
There's no survival demand for ivory either. Like no one needs ivory to get by.
Well, need is something we don't even talk about in economics. What is need? What do you need to live?
It's relative.
It's relative, yeah.
Food and water. That's it.
Food, water, shelter, but what kind of shelter? A tarp? A metal roof?
Depends on the environment you're in.
Depends on the environment you're in, depends on how you want to live, right? People live, we have a horrible environment up here. Sometimes during the winter it's pretty awful, right? But people live in tents. So shelter, it's a very relative term. I wouldn't live in a tent, but food.
Food is relative. There is food that's accepted by many people that I can't eat, for example.
Yeah, when people are asking, the homeless ask for food, or they say, hey, I'll take anything, and you offer them something, and like, oh, I don't eat that kind of thing, right? It's like, well, the old beggars can't be choosers type thing, right? But it's really relative. So if you were absolutely starving, food, period, would help, right? But it depends on where you are in life. Now, if you're in a third world country, yeah, food is food. You don't really care that much. You want meat. See, only rich Westerners are vegetarians by choice, right? In the third world, poor third world people, they would love to eat meat, but they don't because they can't afford it. So they live off grass sometimes, huh?
They're eating dirt cakes in Haiti.
Yeah, dirt cakes in Haiti, right? We talked about that. So, so back to the elephants, though. Again, Paul Allen funded this initiative, and it sounded great. But this is really the problem here, is when you get emotion into how can we solve this problem, and you bring in emotion, like the idea, oh, I love animals, I hate to see animals die. Okay, you're never going to solve anything. You're just going to ruin everything, right? It's going to muddy the waters. You're going to come up with an actual solution, and it sounds terrible. It hurts me. It hurts me to think of that, so we can't do it. Okay, then I guess we'll just leave things as they are, right? When you bring emotions into problem, that's why in economics we say you really have to get emotions out of the way. You have to kind of brush them aside in order to actually see what is the goal. And you can think about what are we willing to put up with to get that goal. Right? Did I talk about pollution? What would you like a pollution-free world? Raise your hand if you want a pollution-free world. Okay, you're all insane. Okay, how can you do that? What is pollution? Well, according to the EPA, see, you're all polluting right now. So, if you really want a pollution-free world, stop breathing, right?
Yeah, sure.
So you see these cars you guys all got here. You didn't walk here. And even if you did, you breathed the whole way, and you probably went to the bathroom sometime on your way here, right? You're all polluting. So pollution-free world is an impossibility. right? And if you wanted a minimal amount of pollution, it would be a terrible world, right? You wouldn't have buildings, you wouldn't have cars, you wouldn't have transportation, you wouldn't, right? What would you have? Nothing. You wouldn't have clothes, you know.
Food, water.
Population would be small.
You wouldn't have food, you wouldn't have clean water, right? You'd have to go to a lake, polluted lake, just drink the pure water, right? So it really is, what are you willing to put up with? So how are we going to save elephants, rhinos, these animals that people, you know, and again, this is subjective. I think elephants are amazing creatures. They're enormous, powerful, right?
Smart.
Right? They have long memories, right?
There's actually an alternative to African and Indian ivory. The permafrost in Russia.
Yeah, so they have like ancient elephant
Yeah,
tusks.
ancient elephant tusks, and so
Yeah.
it's creating a new market for the local economy, as well as like a much more affordable resource.
You know, more than that, and that's a good example you bring up right now, is that, yeah, that is legal to harvest ivory, to get it. They can go get it.
It's super, super destructive.
Well, they take big water cannons.
Yeah, and they blow out permafrost areas,
Yeah.
wash out rivers, killing fish and everything else.
So it is destructive, right? But but you're not killing any animals doing it, right? And it is legal, but you still can't sell that on the open market. They get the ivory with the intent of I don't remember. I think you might, that specific ivory, I think they can sell.
They sell
on the market.
mostly in China and Asia.
Yeah.
And they don't always just use water blasting. That's usually more of a coastal stuff. But it's just really small operations that just go out in like these trucks and they just like try digging up holes.
Yeah, on Expedition Unknown, he went up there and they're trying to get DNA of a mammoth so they can recreate it. But this is, if it is illegal to sell the ivory, they have crackdowns, and you know they wouldn't be able to go up there and harvest that ivory, and you'd have to get it from other methods, and the only other method is to shoot an elephant, right? Now, right now, ivory period is illegal all around the world. It's been completely banned. Doesn't matter. People that sell ivory don't care. They actually like the ban. It drives the price up.
Yeah, the price is higher.
Now the problem with is it creates a black market, right? Black markets are notoriously bad because
They
violence.
kill other things.
Yeah.
They should-
And the people that are allowed to sell the ivory itself, they create a monopoly on the
you usually get gangs because you know who here is willing to risk prison and by the way, if you're caught in the Serengeti with a gun, you know they see you out there as a potential poacher. The army shoots you. They shoot first, ask questions later. So it's very dangerous, and it's very dangerous for the anti-poachers because the poachers say shoot first, ask later. The military says shoot first, ask later. So what you get is as soon as they see each other, they start shooting, and so you have a lot of shooting, and you have a very violent thing. Now, who here is willing to go out and do that? You know, it takes a certain kind of person. You're willing to shoot an elephant, take a chainsaw and cut its tusk off, right?
Is my family starving?
If your family's starving, you might, right? But obviously nobody here is starving. So
So we have moral hazards.
But no, but that's what he's saying, he's gonna, you know, the whole fact of it being a commodity though. Like, would you be wanting to go out there and shoot the elephant and cut the tusks off and all that? I mean, yeah, somebody has to do it, but you as a consumer, would you do it?
No, not as a U.S. consumer. But
yeah, and so it is. I mean, it is probably poor people that go out and do this. And they're no longer poor once they harvest these things.
And usually these people who deal with this kind of stuff, they also deal with drugs because, you know, it's all on one boat. So
Yeah, it probably is, right? I mean,
Drugs
these are large crime syndicates,
and
kind of like drugs in Mexico, right?
blood diamonds.
Yeah, so there's a lot of violence. That's what happens in black markets is you get violence. You can't sue anybody, right? You have your ivory horn that you've illegally harvested and someone steals it from you. What do? Call the authorities? There are 911 calls, so-and-so stole my drugs, right? But those are usually on the idiot list, right? Dumbest people in the world, in America, right? So you can't do that. So what you do is you get your friends, Glock or whatever, and you go and you get whatever you want, right? You take your stuff back via violence. So again, with the elephants, making it legal, so making it illegal is harmful. It's actually causing the problems we're seeing. But if you legalized it, one is they have artificial ivory. It's illegal right now because ivory is ivory, but if you could legalize it, now we're not talking about legalizing hunting. That's key, right? Legalizing the ivory trade does not mean legalizing hunting elephants. Okay. What you do is, and this actually works in Zimbabwe. You guys remember when Cecil was shot? What happened is you had this big outcry from the West, oh, I can't believe they shoot lions, and Zimbabwe had these big game hunters that now, they used to go to Zimbabwe, pay $50,000 to shoot a lion. Zimbabwe would take the $50,000 and use it towards the preserves and save the rest of the animals. Now, what happened after that is, there was a great article on, I think the New York Times, a guy from Zimbabwe wrote, in Zimbabwe, we don't cry for lions, right? It's like lion killed my uncle, my best friend was mauled by a lion, we were stuck in our village for 2 weeks while there were lions roaming. If you've ever seen Ghost in the Darkness, great movie, right? About lions who were attacking people. Very common. People are attacked and killed by lions all the time in Africa. So, but what they did is they no longer were these people willing to pay to go hunt a lion so that they could have their entire life ruined, right? So what Zimbabwe, and by the way, Mugabe eats elephant. He eats baby elephant. Right, he's famous. He wears a lion around his neck. He's a dictatorial thug. He's a wicked man, right? He's murdered a lot of people. But anyways, he used to sell permits. Well, can't do that anymore, and they had to actually just go kill a lot of lions, and they didn't get anything for it. They could have sold the permits to kill those lions. They would have had a whole lot of money they could have used to save the other animals, but because the West, just like I was talking about with sweatshops, this outcry, we must end the sweatshops. So all the sweatshops close and the people that used to work there lose their job and they go back to extreme poverty where they were before. Well, just like Africa, well, no longer hunt the lions legally with permits. It's well regulated. Now, they just had to kill the lions because of the overpopulation. Right? So there was a black rhino. They sold the right to hunt a black rhino for $250,000 somebody paid. Big outcry. Now, what was it? You think, oh, I can't believe they were going to kill the black rhino. There's only like 20 of them left. Well, this black rhino was a big problem. It was blind, it was really old, and it was harming the herd. And they were going to have to kill it, no matter what. So they could have got $250,000, but the do-gooders in the West said, oh, that's terrible, we can't do that. And so the person that paid $250 said, oh, you know what, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to ruin my reputation and be hated by the world. And
he lost his dentist business.
Well, that was the Cecil guy, yeah.
Oh, that's the Cecil guy.
Yeah, the lion guy. The other guy, the guy that was going to do the rhino, I think they just canceled the bidding. I don't think anybody even knew who did it. But you're right. The guy that shot the Cecil, the lion, his life is done. I mean, they had people that were threatening to kill him, and there were many outcries. People wanted him dead. They wanted him dead for killing a lion. You just remember Jimmy Kimmel went on and he cried on TV. Right. He cries about everything. So you wonder if he's serious about anything, right? But so legalizing ivory, what it would do is it would incentivize people. It would turn elephants that are big problem animals. If you're a villager in Africa, they trample your crops, they ruin your life, right? I was watching a thing on TV about this, and you're not allowed to touch the elephants or even harass them, really. You could just shine lights at them. I forget what else they were able to do. Like
they bang pots and pans.
Yeah, they were able to get like firecrackers.
Yeah, they put a line up around their villages. Something like pepper or something on them to help try to keep them warm.
That's right, yeah. They had to get a permit or something to do that. But they were able to get pepper bombs. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they put electric wires around the village.
Yeah, I don't know if that would... Probably wouldn't be that wouldn't really work though, because it would have to go all the way around not the village so much, but the crops. Yeah, the elephants just walk right through your field.
Significant charge of power going through that line to keep that elephant Like, oh,
Mhm.
I shouldn't go over there.
Well, there goes Tommy, there goes.
Yeah, so I mean, one elephant walks right through it, and yeah, I mean, it would be, so what they do is these elephants are problems, and so if a poacher comes along, a villager is likely to guide him to the elephant population. But then, in Kenya, it actually worked. They gave the right to these elephants to the local village, and suddenly a liability becomes an asset, and they can sell the right to hunt an elephant for a huge amount of money to a rich, wealthy Westerner that wants to do a big game hunt. Anybody hunt deer or anything?
It's not
One
hard.
person?
The concept's not much different than deer hunting.
It's really not, but
I guess we're just more civilized over here.
yeah, I mean, well, we have deer, they have elephants, and I don't know, maybe they look at our deer like, I can't believe anybody would hunt Bambi,
You know, I
right?
bet you there's somebody over there crying about it.
No, I'm sure there is, but you know, they're much more reasonable over there, I think, in terms of this. So it worked. It meant the villagers now protected the elephants because it's an asset now, not a liability. And so what you do is by legalizing, again, not legalizing hunting in the reserves and stuff, but you would turn these animals into assets for local villages who would then protect the elephants, and it worked. When they outlawed ivory, in '79 they outlawed it, and one of my students responded, Michelle, that poaching went up just staggering amounts. And they had about a 10-year period where they legalized ivory. And what happened is they were incentivized to produce ivory. How do you produce ivory? Farms. Huh?
Oh, breed more elephants.
Yeah, breed more elephants. So people are incentivized to breed elephants. Now, in the wild, elephants, I think their gestation periods like a year and a half, are pretty long. And you're talking about a long process, but how long is a wine process?
About the same.
Could be a couple years, right? Sometimes, yeah. I mean, think of process. How long did it take to build these buildings around here? Could be a couple years, maybe. You know, people are, huh?
Oh, 6 months to a year. That's how.
Some of them, smaller ones, but some of the big buildings, it could take a long time. And you're talking about from the time they buy the property and start investing, it can be 5 years down the road. Around here, to get a building permit, it takes 2 years sometimes. So you buy a property, you apply for the permit, 2 years later, you can break ground. You know, the shovel was a groundbreaking invention, right?
Yeah.
They're simpler than this. Christmas trees. Takes 7 to 10
There you
years
go.
to grow a Christmas
Yeah,
tree.
exactly. So Christmas trees, those are a long investment. But people do it. And a Christmas tree isn't an ivory tusk. Right? And so you're talking long gestation periods, but people will invest. People will invest in these. And you could also have people that not only want to profit, but people that want to save these animals will invest in this process.
And it could push the price up even higher because with the black market working in that way, that a black market for elephant trade, it's going to come to an end eventually because they're going to kill all the elephants off.
Eventually they're going to die off, yeah.
But
I mean,
if
it's
you're-
going to
if you're
happen if
farming
they keep
them,
up.
You can go, well, I'm charging you for the upkeep of the pen or the land,
Oh,
the
yeah,
raising
the
of
food
animals
and
and all that
everything,
stuff. So
right?
that all goes into the price of what you're charging for the ivory, I guess. So I could push the price up.
But you could also, you would eliminate the crime aspect
Right.
and the danger as much anyways. And so I think, and you would be a greater supply. So I think the price would definitely go down. Because I don't think that the demand, I think it's very inelastic. That is that if the price of ivory went down to 50,000 per horn, you know, are you going to see a dramatic increase in the demand for ivory? I just don't think so. Right? I think maybe, but you know, some people say, "Oh, we need to change culture over there." Well, they've been trying that for a long. No, they don't listen, right? They don't care because it's traditionally they've been using it, and so yeah, I mean, you can
Christians
work
have been
on
trying
it.
to change people's culture since Christ. Never mind, I'll be nice.
Long before that, even. I mean, yeah, culture is difficult to change, right? Tradition, very superstitious, right? Asia is very super. My mother-in-law, calculated our wedding date, right? I mean, you ever lucky brand
Mhm.
XYZ, right?
She used the bot,
What?
did she use like Legalize symbols?
I don't know. I don't know. But Asian supermarkets are usually like lucky something. 8, right? 8 is in everything. So, I mean, there's a lot of superstition. And so the elephant tusk ivory is just part of that. It's just what they do. And so knowing that that is there, the demand is there,